So let's talk music right away, then we can get into some more personal stuff and everything else. Musically, what's going on right now? We haven't had you in here in a while. How come?
I think I just needed a bit of a break, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, in every way.
Sure.
I was kind of musically exhausted. You know, I'd done everything that I wanted to do. I just came to kind of a, you know, and you know, I'd released basically 3 albums in a row. There was no break. And I wasn't necessarily like, you know, I guess I just felt like it was the right time to like reset and go and just live my life a bit. And
is it basically a recharge then of the creative juices, the batteries, everything in your life to take that rest?
Well, I just realized that I hadn't really had a normal life, I guess, since I was, you know, so I quit university to move to London to sign a record deal.
Yeah.
And then since then, my life's just been like mad, as you know, as you full well know. And so I realized that I hadn't really had like my 20s properly. So I was just like, well, I'm just going to start like doing things like cooking and like walking down the street and, you know, just
trying to be normal.
Well, no, I know it just sounds stupid. I know it sounds like a, you know, it sounds like I haven't had a lot. I've had an amazing life.
Of course. Yeah.
No, we get what you're saying. Absolutely.
I just realized that you know, and so I moved to New York for a bit. And I literally just like started just, you know, I was teaching myself piano. I just read books, you know, went cooking. I know that's a luxury because I know most people have to work.
Right, of course.
But I just had such an insane time and I felt like I was catching up on 10 years of sleep, basically.
Did you, at any point when you sort of decided to take a break from music, any part of you think like, I wonder if I'm going to even go back to it, you know?
I did think that, yeah.
Yeah. I would think that would be natural.
I've done everything that, you know, obviously there's always more to accomplish and more to achieve. And, you know, there's always a like better song to be written and you know, whatever. But
right.
I did for a second think that, yeah.
So that's scary to me. I can't imagine how when you've poured your heart out in music and you've been so great at it, how you could walk away from that.
Because it kind of messes with your head because, you know, in your head you're like, oh, you know, you kind of just kind of close yourself off to any kind of feedback or any kind of you know, reactions, and you know, I had to get off social media and I just but yeah, it was, I think once you've done it for that long, you know, you're not thinking about other people, you're just thinking about yourself. And so yeah, so the answer to the question is I did think maybe I might just
give up on it and just kick it to the side for a sec.
Maybe, yeah. But
it's so funny when we look at your social media, though, we see the different aspects of your life now. And I talked about your Instagram and everything. There were aspects that some people who just knew your music, maybe like your music, didn't know about. You like, yeah, you could be out there modeling. You could be, I mean, you're a strikingly beautiful woman. No, I've seen a lot of Instagram photos, and I got in trouble for double tapping them by my wife, so I know what I'm speaking of here. I got in trouble. What are you doing there with Ellie Goulding's picture?
I could probably model sportswear like you know, Lululemons.
I'm a Lululemon model. Thank you very much. You've heard the news. But so yeah, do stuff like that. I mean, and there was the training videos when you were doing the workouts. You could have been a personal trainer. I mean, there's so many avenues in your life that might bring you joy.
But it's so crazy because I feel like that's the only place where people can really see, you know, I'm quite private in general. And
of course.
This is the first time I'm doing interviews in a while, but like Instagram is really the only place for people to see like, you know, what goes on
behind the
scenes,
so to speak,
and so my fans were furious when I deleted everything.
Yeah,
I deleted like nearly 3,000 pictures.
Do you call somebody for that to help you out?
Yeah, I didn't know how to do it.
I don't think it's a one at a time thing or something, right?
Yeah.
What have you been doing? Been deleting photos for 3 years now.
Yeah, so like that is I mean, you know, that is a place for people to see what I do, and you know, I post my UN work on there, I post my environmental work, work with the homeless. And then the boxing, my like side career, which I thought about for a second. Thought about being a boxer.
You should do like a charity match or something. You should do some sort of
Who
charity.
could she fight?
I don't know. Do you have any
somebody.
enemies in the music industry?
I have no enemies.
Now, come on. This is the snippet that gets us press. You know that. Right now, your team knows that on the couch, too.
I have...
You name somebody, and we get some mad press. Go ahead.
I have no...
Even if it's funny.
All right,
I don't have any.
Pick one of these people to box.
Okay.
Taylor Swift, Christina Aguilera, or Miley Cyrus.
Who could you take? Come on.
Well, I mean... I've been training a lot, a lot. So I could take a lot of people, but
Taylor's tall.
But I wouldn't want to take any of them.
Good answer.
Taylor's
Good
reach is
answer.
there. You'd have to watch out for her.
But the thing is, like, sometimes you don't need boxing training. Sometimes you can fight. You can just fight.
Right. It's just in
you've
you.
got it in you.
Is there a fighter in you?
Yes.
There is, really.
Yes.
Where's that come from?
I don't know. Maybe because I guess in general I feel like I'm quite a passive person, and I'm pacifist, and I don't really agree with violence.
Okay.
But I think because I suppress that, boxing is my one sort of place that I get it all out.
Release.
I suppose.
Right.
My granddad was a boxer, so
Really?
yeah, and like my uncle's in the army. My brother did a stint in the army as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I think there's a bit of that in me, I guess.
Right. There's a switch that you could flip if needed to take out Christina Aguilera.
I don't
That's
wanna
what you're
take-
saying?
You are so naughty that I don't want to take out anyone. I just but if someone wants to fight, I'm up for it.
By the way, this whole thing was just trying to avoid it. And then in the end, she goes, you know what? If somebody wants to fight, let's go.
I just gave up. I know what you're trying to do. I give up. They
you're
know
so
what you're
sweet.
trying to do. Whatever.
What do you do for the holidays?
I always volunteer, so that's
Oh my
my
gosh.
thing.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
then much to the annoyance of my family, I get that to my family quite late, and
Yeah.
then we have Christmas Day,
Right.
which I usually host, and then it's my birthday on the 30th.
Is
So
it?
I
Oh,
was
man.
saying earlier that I always have a birthday. I always purposely have a party, a New Year's party, so
Yeah.
that people have no choice but to come to both.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's very handy,
Trick
isn't
'em.
it?
Trick him
Yeah.
into be my friend. Yeah. So I end up having like a really nice birthday party as well. So
And
it's great.
growing up, did your parents or family ever try to give you the one present that was
Oh,
for both
yeah.
Christmas and birthday?
No, but I get that though because my mum had like 4 kids to buy presents for, so I would have done exactly the same. Yeah.
Was it tough growing up? Were you, I mean, I don't know this, so forgive me. Were you in a well-to-do family, or were you guys kind of ordinary, or?
We were. I mean, I'd say like, modest is probably the word.
Modest, okay.
Definitely not a well-to-do family.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah. I think we talked about it. Somebody's had a weird flashback to last time we spoke, but
Did we talk about this last time?
I think so.
We had some
think
weird
so.
encounters last time.
Did we?
Well, yeah, there's some stuff I didn't want to bring up because I was just not as knowledgeable back
No,
then.
you can bring it out. What?
Well, no, because Skrillex was sitting in the studio with you one time, right? This is so we go way back in this conversation, right? I don't
Wait,
know
he
who
was
the-
being interviewed, or I was
No,
being
I
interviewed?
think you were,
and he was
but
just
I
here
didn't
with
know
you.
who he
No
was.
way.
Yeah, he happened to be with you on the couch or something. I didn't know who he was. Then people
Well, he
made
was my
fun of me.
boyfriend at the time.
Yeah, but I didn't know, and then I didn't know who he was anyway.
Could you beat him up?
Yes.
Let's get to the music. Let's go right to the music now. Let's do that, okay?
I think we've gathered I can probably beat some people up.
I think she's gonna beat us up, to be honest. You know? And I've watched enough of her workout videos to know that I have no chance, honestly. So let's talk about the new song. What's the
Yeah.
inspiration? Explain it to me.
I think when we wrote this, we actually wrote it here. I think we were like, what's a song that's kind of a love song, but also, it's being with that person that is kind of trouble, but also that person that you just want to do everything, you kind of want to cause trouble with. I guess it's some sort of like, not anarchy, but how there's been sort of crazy mad things happening in the world, and
Yeah.
it was nice to write a song that was, because I've been with the new music, I can't help but try and talk about the things that are going on a bit. So this song was just like completely a rebellion against that. And it's just like that,
Okay.
having that person in the world with you that can, never mind what's happening. We're just going to go and have a
Yeah.
good time and get drunk, basically.
Is your well of creativity, is it overflowing again?
I don't know why I found that funny. Yeah, I mean, if I have a song idea, it will materialize. If I don't, I don't. And I think that's something that I've learned the past couple of years, having free time, because
Good for you.
if I don't come up with a song, there was no pressure to, for people to tell me to try and write a song. So it was quite nice. So I've written when I've wanted to write, and then not when I don't. So it's been nice.
Somebody told me years ago, a pretty famous songwriter who shall remain nameless here, but he
go
told
on.
me, no, I'm not name dropping, but he told me you have to live to write. And that's what
Very
you're doing, it
true.
sounds like.
It's very true. Although I know some writers that just spend every day in the studio, like
Really?
just obsessed, and I don't know what they write about. I guess they just end up writing about the same kind of things
Right.
because I think it's really important to travel. It's really important to talk to your friends, to always be talking and well, listening more than
Yeah.
talking, really. And yeah, experiencing things and not sort of bury your head in the sand and not ignore the things that are happening in the
Yeah.
world. I think that's really important. Some of the best songs, within the context of whatever was going on at the time in the world. So I think it's important for people to still do that because I think we need those songs kind of more than ever. So I've tried to do a bit of that on my new album.
I like that.
Yeah.
Let's hear the music.